Hello everyone, Husky Ninja here, with something a little different to my normal content, that being looking at a TCG Player article about Weiss Schwarz. There are many, but I thought I'd go with their newest, which is looking at the most expensive Weiss Schwarz cards right now, as of March 2026. So it's not that old. And I did record this earlier today, but for some reason, my microphone was on mute. So this is a redo, as I had uploaded it, the original one, found there's no audio, so then I had to delete it. So anyhow, we're gonna look at this TCG Player article. I will put a link to it down below, so you all can see it for yourselves. And it is written by Drew Knapp, who over Nordic goes by Fenrir Rex. And we shall start. Weiss Schwarz continues to dominate the market when it comes to interesting, valuable cards. Which is very true. With an impressive array of IPs available, still being at the likes of Universes Beyond, which, Universes Beyond, their card stock sucks. It's like cereal cardboard, like the cardboard box stuff cereal for Universes. And essentially, every other multi-IP based game. Which, to my knowledge, there's not that many multi-IP based games, especially when it comes to TCGs. You can find all kinds of fun favorite cards that collectors absolutely adore. Which is true when you have a look at the likes of Weiss Schwarz waifu decks. It's been a little while since we checked in on the market, so based off on cards with current market prices as of on their website, so not to include anything that's lacking enough sales data to have been agreed upon price. So basically, it's stuff that they have a price for or value for on their website. And we will start off with Aang, Master of All Elements, which they have going for market price of $900. And if I click onto the year, which is a better overall viewpoint, you see it start around $350 of April last year. Stayed about that for a while, then it jumped up to around $600. Had another mini jump to $630, and then a jump again as of March 2nd of this year, where it has stayed at $900. Before Magic got their hands on the IP, the best way to play with the Aang gang was Weiss Schwarz. In many regards, I still recommend Weiss Schwarz over Magic if you want to play with Avatar: The Last Airbender, in part because the characters generally feel like they have more impact on the game here. Beyond the impact, the collector's variants from Weiss Schwarz also feel like incredible homage to the IP. With this version of Aang, Master of All Elements, representing one of the best looking versions of the character in cardboard. What they essentially mean is with a lot of crossovers from Magic the Gathering, is basically them reskinning cards they already have. So it's just like, oh, it's like where some guys were like, oh, you're gonna play this? I'm gonna pay for the new skin. It's essentially that with a lot of Magic Gathering collab cards that have been coming out of late. Avatar: The Last Airbender was very much that. With Weiss Schwarz, it's completely different. Where decks tend to work with how the series flows. Next, we have Ruby Determined, with a market value currently of $900. Now, when we look at the price graph, you can see there's a weird drop. Where it started at April last year of basically $632. Then I went to 645, had a mini jump up to 800. But then September 14th, it was at 800. But then on the 15th of September, it dropped to no value because they didn't have any cards available. So from September, let me find the date, September 15th up until October 19th, they didn't have anything for this on our site. But then from the October 20th all the way to now, its value stayed at 900. Now, this is the premium booster Ruby. A lot of Ruby cards now are a lot of money just to buy just a single, or really hard to get. This even goes with the trial deck as well. So keep that in mind if you're after anything Ruby. But we shall continue. Ruby has a curiously dedicated fan base. In no small part because of how spectacular the fight choreography in the series is. While it's hard to translate that kind of kinetic energy in static cardboard, Weiss Schwarz does a more than admirable job of making it really feel like you're playing with these stellar characters. The signature stamp version of Ruby Determined, which is from the Ruby Premium Booster set, is essentially the holy grail for fans of Ruby, and its price point shows. I can see why, plus it's like what it can do as well, where it lets you clock heal to your waiting room, and has a really good climax combo as well. So you'll find it's a sign card, and it does a really good job of what it has to do at that level. For example, with this Girl from the Surface Yoko, which is level 0, it has auto at the beginning of your opponent's attack phase. You may move this to an open position of your center stage. So it's a free runner, and it's level 0, but it's the fact it's an older series now, and it's not that well supported. And its price did start at around about 900, and now it's more like 1,000. Gurren Lagann is one of those rare shows that I recommend to even non-anime fans. It's generally just good, and that broad appeal has allowed one of the most popular characters to rise in price above her peers, which is really good when you consider an older series as well. The Girl from the Surface Yoko includes a much sought after signature, and this is something worth cracking boxes of Gurren Lagann set all on its own. That being said, some older sets, you're paying basically an arm and a leg just to get anything for. It's even like that with Angel Beats. Next, we have Pires from Azure Lane. Which has a market value of 1,000 currently. So it's just stayed that since they've had it on their site. People love their anthropomorphic battleships. So we have our first, but not far last, because they also covered set 2 for Azure Lane here. Azure Lane representative. The art is gorgeous, the signature is lovely, and the card plays well. That's basically a perfect storm for a high value card. The crossover between World War aficionados and lovers of anime girls is surprising, but Azure Lane shows that they have some purchase power on the market. And it's basically like a power booster to itself, as well as a character retrieval for Kansen. Next, we have the only Nikkei card on this list, which I find really surprising. Especially with what it can do. And if we go to its price graph, it has stayed at 1,000 on their website. And I do apologize if I say his name wrong, but surprisingly, Madarina, First Affection, is the only goddess of victory Nikkei representative here. But I suspect that's because many collectors are choosing to keep their tongue-tied there, are choosing their rare variants rather than putting them up on our market. So that tells you there, this is basically on TCG Player's market with their pricing. The signature gold stamp variant of this popular character is lovely to look at. It is a potential powerhouse in decks built around Nikkei. That's basically if you play a Nikkei set, this card will be good for it. Further driving up demand and making this a card to watch. Which I can sort of get, but I have seen cards that do better than what this card does that I've played against. Next, we have another one of the Azure Lanes. This one being Baltimore, which has basically a reaction with the consent. This is from set 1, and if we look at the price graph, it has just stayed steady at 1,000. Unsurprisingly, Azure Lane returns once more to the rankings, this time with a gorgeous signature variant of Baltimore. This one, I keep getting tongue-tied, I'm so sorry for that. I find this one particularly interesting, as the beauty really is the right word here. There's a complimentary little fan service, so not loads of boobs and all that. Here, and a tasteful portrayed battleship. I'm so sorry again, tongue-tied, you guys. I'm so sorry. This one that you could easily have on display. Definitely a piece worth adding to any collection, and one of the best pulls of the first Azure Lane set overall. I can see what he means, because it's a more elegant, graceful card art. Where it's not about all the titties or all the ass. It is very tasteful and demure. I'm so sorry for getting tongue-tied, you guys. So I shall have a drink, and hopefully that will help sort it out. Before we continue. Next up, we have Freeran the Slayer. This is one of the Bushi event cards. So event cards, you do typically tend to if you want to buy them, you typically have to spend more to get them, even just the second-hand market sometimes. Especially if it's a set that does really well, or the card works amazingly. And it has stayed steady at $1,000. You may have noticed I'm a little bit of an anime nerd. One might even say an otaku. I'll own up to that, and with that in mind, I am unequivocally saying that Freeran Beyond Journey's End has snuck into my personal top 5 anime of all time to see. Well, with ease. Not the only anime fan who shares this affection, as this rare Bushi Road event card variant of Freeran the Slayer has reached peak demand. And I expect to see more Freeran variants slaying their way onto these rankings soon. Yes, I am not for saying this word. But I can see it's just mostly for the card art more than anything, in my opinion. And also, deal 4 damage to your opponent. Plus 2k power. And it's just like really nice border on the top bit. Sometimes I wish they extended it down to like here, because they're essentially an overframe rare. But instead, if they kept it that short for like a climax card. Next, we have something from Dandadan, which is Full Throttle Strike Okuran. And when we look at its price, it has gone down from $1,171.66 down to $985.83. I love it when a newer IP manages to make its way onto these ranks, and this makes me happier than most. Dandadan is a generally awesome series. To some. And the fandom has come out strong in support of the anime. This support shines clearly here, with one of the most rare variants in the Dandadan set, spiking with an impressive price point with a speed that Okuran himself would be proud of. Yeah, it was quite a bit, and then it's just like gone down quite a bit. If you look here, it says 0 sold. As soon as it sold, you get to where it's like, how many have sold? The price just gone down quite a bit. Next we have, I think, yeah, it's one of two from the Azure Lane of Volume 2. And before we look at anything else, we're going to look at the price. We're starting at around 1,700, but then it's just increased just in 10 cents. That's the only difference. It's just 10 cents has changed. Azure Lane returns. Azure Lane Volume 2 is a seriously packed with all kinds of wickedly good pulls. And this is right up top. Well, second to the top, and I generally kind of surprised that it didn't make number 1. People love fox girls. They love all furry girls, to be honest. It's not just fox girls. Not just girls. As there is a special audience that will always pick up this kind of aesthetic above all others. Sometimes called the furry bump. I love how they put in air quotes within brackets as well. Just like emphasize furry bump. In part due to that fuzzy popularity, I would call this the safest pickup out of the list as a whole. It seems unlikely that it will drop in value. But it's only 10 cents different. It's like, I get it because the artwork's really, really nice. Plus she's a kitsune. And the really nice tropical border. And next we have another Azure Lane Volume 2 card. This being New Jersey. Whose price has stayed the same at $2,000. Which, I did check, it is more than the highest rarity valued card in the Project Sakai set. Which is surprised with Hatsune Miku, it's beat. Gacha games will very often dominate these lists, as the crossover fans who love these games and have coin to spare on valuable cards is substantial. Battleship New Jersey is one of those most popular characters of Azure Lane, and this beautiful signature stamped variant is one of the prettiest cards I've seen. I'm sorry, I think this one's prettier. This is fully deserving the top spot, and I wouldn't be surprised to see if it stayed on top for some time. So I get if it's because of what the card can do, but prettiest, I'd have to go with this one. But that is their list. It is interesting to see, like, which ones, since this article, the prices have fluctuated according to their website pricing, which ones have just stayed steady, and which ones, like, the Ruby had, like, a substantial drop for a few months, and then shot straight back up again. And then you have things like the Ang, which started at 350 and is now like 900. But it's still really interesting to see how the card prices fluctuate and change over time. I will put a link down below in the description to this article so you guys can check it out for yourselves, as it is a really good read, as well as see what some cards can do as well. So please don't forget to like and subscribe. Turn off your YouTube restrictions, because otherwise YouTube will hide videos from all your favorite content makers from you. And don't forget to check out the rest of the videos here on my channel, from Weiss Schwarz matches, deck overviews, unboxings, and openings on occasion. And until next time, bye!